What's up, everybody? Somewhat new to the YouTube, but just wanted to set something up here to review Star Citizen. It's a game that you'll go out and see a ton of mixed opinions on. I myself will get into some details on it here today, but right now it's looks pretty good. We're starting out in what they consider the Hab Center. Really, each location that you can, spawn at will have a hab, what they call a hab, where you live and sleep. You'll spawn there when you, if you happen to find yourself in a little bit of a pickle and you end up dead, you'll find yourself in one of these habs. Typically the last one that you were at, that you docked your ship at, and we'll kind of go through all that in more detail. To start, you come out of your hab, you'll find that you're going to have to interact with just about everything in this game to do anything. We're going to call the elevator here. You can see in chat people saying there's a 30k incoming. I'm not noticing anything just yet that's off, but when they reference a 30k, we've come to find that that means the server's about to crash. This game is in alpha. That's part of why we see a lot of mixed reviews on this game. It's got many problems, but it's also, for all those problems, has great attributes to it. So we're going to come out here. You'll see that signs are very important in this game. You'll have trouble moving around some of the larger cities. Granted, we are at one of the mining outposts. I call it a mining outpost. I guess it's a they consider it a rest stop within the game. So if you look at the map here by hitting your F2 key, it'll bring you to, you'll see all these like ARC L5, CRU L4. Each one of these are considered a like a rest area. Like if you're on a highway and you're stopping, there's rest areas, between exits that are rather long, typically have food, place to clean up type of deal. That's very much what each one of these are. You'll find them throughout the system here in many locations. You'll find me here often as one of the best ways, at least in the 3.14 version, to make some money is mining. Going into that, there's a whole mechanic behind it where you can mine materials, you can sell the raw material directly for a lower cost, but it's quicker, or you can go and actually refine the material and make a greater profit going to sell it to the cities instead of just selling it directly to the refinery, the refinery will likely just be refining it and selling it to the city for a higher price. To just cut them out and make some extra money that way. There's a few minerals and elements that will yield you better profits. We'll get into more detail on that in a little bit as well. But, just coming back out here, so what we're coming into is what's considered the hangars, or I believe they have a sign up here for you. I guess they're just calling it security, but anyway, you come up here, there's these vehicle retrieval consoles. You'll see them throughout this room. There's several of them available. Each one does the same thing. Come up to it, you use your inner thought muzzle, which is the F key. Come down here, you can see the list of ships that you have. I had ended up encountering a bug. You'll see that I have 3 Cutlass Blacks. I didn't pay for any of these. Ended up duplicating it by just renting it twice and then logging off, logging back in. I had a duplicated copy that I owned. Eventually it broke. I couldn't get into it, so I did it again and it gave me another one. So it's definitely a bug out there. I'm sure others have run into it. I haven't seen any videos on it, but it's here. You can see it. I did end up purchasing the Avenger Titan, one of the better starters, I'd say. It is a little more expensive than the Aurora or the Mustang Alpha, but either way, it did the job for me. You could probably start with the cheaper ones as well. It was kind of a dumb decision for me. I just thought it looked cool. You get caught up in the silly stuff. Other than that, we're gonna go ahead and pull out one of our ships here. So at do so, you'll see that some of these have claims. Now apparently with 3.15 coming out, post-wipe, we will not be able to claim our ship from a alternate location. I'm guessing the claim system will still exist if your ship blows up or whatnot, but I'm not sure if that means that you'll have to go back to your original location. So say we took off from, we are currently in ARC-1, it's over by ArcCorp District. So say I was in ArcCorp, I flew out, I flew over, you know, Crusader District, which, and I'll pull up my map for anybody who hasn't played this game much, or at all, we'll say. Come over here to Crusader. From our current position, which you'll see is in ARCL1, and say I didn't actually dock my ships anywhere over here, and somebody came and blew us up, because there's a lot of pirates in this game. They will do all sorts of terrible things. You could be just sitting there minding your own business and they'll kamikaze you at the portals or random moons that you may be landing at. So you got to be mindful of that. Anyway, not to detract from our original conversation, we were going into, say we're coming over here to see our UL1. We don't actually make it to a landing and we get blown up beforehand. In 3.15, there's word that you will not be able to claim your ship from alternate locations. You would have to go back to the originating spot. But my question is here is, so say, like I mentioned, we get blown up in CRUL1, originating from ARCL1. Are you going to be able to claim that ship from any location, or do you have to go back to the origin to make your insurance claim? Excuse me. Beyond that, so that's one question I have for 3.15. I'm sure we'll find out soon. Apparently there's first wave of test platforms going out to PTU. I guess that means if you're a subscriber or whatever, you get to, or part of this particular testing team, you can start playing on 3.15 and help them test it out. I am not invested that well into this game. I just wanted to check it out. I did end up spending a little money on the pledge just to get the better ship, but you don't have to. You can just jump in and have a good time with the cheaper ones. Now, going beyond that, once we get out of here, let's go and pull our ship out actually and do something. I'm sure you guys are bored. So I'm going to pull out what's called the Prospector. This is a ship that I would recommend you work up towards. I wouldn't buy this. It's like $125 on the site. It's not, I mean, unless you really want to support the cause, you get into the game and it's awesome. You can definitely get away with doing some regular missions. You know, that's probably a better idea for this video, is just to show you what some regular missions look like. We'll get into mining later on down the road. So I'm going to put this back. You'll see that I did the retrieve option. It's kind of busted because the scroll bar didn't populate, because you can still see them all, but it's like halfway cut off. But there's when you retrieve your ship, the alternate option when it's out there is to store it. Mind you, you do have to pay for your storage, or if you get impounded for parking in an invalid location, it's like a $5,000 fine. Sometimes that's actually a good thing for you, and we'll get more into that in a little bit. But we'll be going into, we'll just pull out the Titan here, give you an idea of what I did to start this out, because you have a few options, and as far as what you can do for jobs, a lot of them are considered contracts. So if you pull into, you know, once we get our ship out here, we're gonna pull up our map. You'll see that once you pull this up, it's considered a mobiGlas. F1, F2, and F11 will all pull up different tabs of this mobiGlas for you. F2 is just a quick jump to your map. F1 is a jump to your dashboard, which is important. It's going to track how much oxygen you have, how much time you can be, you know, on that oxygen. The levels also tell you the outside pressure. So right now, since we're in the habitat, we are, you know, at 1 bar, or whatever their measurement is. Composition is telling you it's 78% nitrogen, there's 20% O2, less than 1% argon, less than 0.04% of CO2, giving you an idea of content in the air, atmosphere pressure, and so on. Over here you have your current balance, heart rate. That will that's gonna, like, if you sprint too long, your heart rate increases, you'll become fatigued. You'll have to like heal up and rest to get around that. But down here you'll see these various things. So comm link, that's going to be your F11 key, so that's how you're going to can jump into various chats, whether you want to be global chat, speak with friends. It's also how you call the station. We'll go over hailing and takeoffs here in a minute, as well as like pending requests if you have friends reaching out to you or wanting you to join a channel, because you can join up with people in multi-crew. I haven't done much of that. I've just been trying to fumble my way through as an infant in the civilization here, but you know, we make do. So we're gonna go ahead and come down here. You'll see these are the tabs I was speaking about. So Skyline, that's your map. Here's your equipment manager. Apparently this is getting moved to a true inventory in ship and on body or in person inventory system versus having a manager here like this. I don't know how that's all going to work out. I haven't watched much on 315 or any of the sneak peeks or anything like that, but you know, that's what's up. Same thing for your vehicle loadout. So here's where you can like select and modify your ship if you had you know, weapons you purchased at a depot and things like that. And in further videos we'll get into doing more of that stuff, but right now you'll see that we have this is the Cuddy Drake. We're going to go down here. This is the contracts manager, so that's where you'll go and pick up jobs. Right now we're in a district where we're not like actually in one of the, like, so each one of the systems has their own jobs that you can join into. So like you can be a bounty hunter, you can do trading, you can sell, just transport goods, you can do mercenary missions, all sorts of stuff. And what I did to start is I just did a courier service. So based in here, let's get to a district where we can actually do some work with you. So we'll go up here. This is mind you, if people are just starting, I highly recommend starting in Hurston, only because of it's easy to navigate, or I found it was easy to navigate. So I'm gonna set my route and we'll take a little trip up there. Go get my ship. We are on pad 2. So just come up here to the elevator. These elevators will bring you out to the pads, hangars, you know, there's docking stations, so on. We happen to have a tiny little ship right now. We're gonna go to pad 2. So now that we're on the pad, one thing you definitely want to make sure of, you'll notice if you get in here and you survive any amount of time, you got to eat and drink to stay alive. So to do so, you got to take your helmet off. I always forget to put my helmet back on, so I always do a little F4 before I walk out. You'll see this little digital shield thing here. That's like an oxygen barrier. You come out here, you are now in space. You still have gravity till you walk off of the platform here, but you have no oxygen out here. If you don't have your helmet on, you're going to die in a big hurry. So we're going to open up back the ship here. So Avenger, this was the first thing I thought was sick about it, is that we had our own little access drop port here. You can't really fit much in it. Like, no vehicles will pull up in here or anything, but you can, you know, bring on, carry on, or cargo, which I found that when you go to these various pickup locations doing the courier service, you'll find random packages just sitting around that you can bring in here and then sell at trading ports. So let's get to a district. So you'll see I'm just trying to get into my ship here. Sometimes the door won't open. You can use your inner thought muscle and select that and it will open. Same thing for getting in the seat. You got to use the F key, enter the pilot seat. Cool little spin out seat, brings you up. So now if you need to start it, granted I'm using a HOTAS with, you know, button mappings for that, so I can do this easily, but if you hold your R key, that will bring all systems to a ready state for flying. So you don't have to worry about going through, because you can go through and turn all these modules on, and there's an ejection button which I always hit when I try to do it manually. That's why I use the key. But you can turn your engines on, you can turn these MFDs on. Each one of these MFDs, that's what these little displays are here and here. And you'll see that there's multiple configurations for each ship, or each one's a little different. But you can come here, you can go into the menu. if I can select it. You can use your scroll wheel to zoom in to make it easier. I'm just being dumb. You can come in here and you can see all the various modules. So you can go to targeting status, which we'll get into when we get in a little further down in the series. Got power management, also something we'll get a little more into. We'll talk about it, but basically you can increase power to shields, weapon systems, you know, your thrusters. If you're trying to get out of there in a hurry or come out of the atmosphere, you can pump power up there, and so on. You can see the various items that are using power, and you can dedicate a little more to them directly, and so on. Coming back to the menu, we're going to come up here. You can look at your heat settings. That's going to show your signature. That becomes important when you're getting into like PvP and any sort of combat, really. Your emission range and your IR range are going to be how far out you can be picked up on in meters. So IR right now, sitting idle, we're at about 8,000 meters. That means somebody coming up with their systems like pinging, they could see me at 8,000 meters, which is relatively close in the grand scheme of things, but that is, you know, that's based on when they can see you, lock on with missiles and launch those missiles at you. That becomes important when you get into dealing with some of the bigger ships. When you're a smaller ship, you definitely want to be sneaking up on them, dropping your payload and getting the hell out, or else you're going to find yourself back here at the Hab, claiming your ship through insurance, because they're going to wipe you out in a big hurry with them, you know, larger sized weapons. Particularly the Titan, you can get a size 3 fixed weapon on the nose, which is decent firepower, but it's still, you know, they go all the way up to, I think, size 5 or size 6. I don't know, I'm not rich enough to get any of the big ships yet, but you know, that's how it is. You'll see that over here on the right hand side of our hood, we have the weapon loadout. So the Mantis is a ballistics weapon, so I do have to keep coming back and buying ammo for that. But the Badger repeaters are laser repeaters. They recharge, so that's kind of where the power management comes into play. The more power you put towards the weapon, the faster they will recharge as you are in the middle of a gunfight or dogfight, whatever you want to call it. And then, you know, we're going to go ahead and hit our F2 key. So we're getting into more of the navigation side now. Sometimes this can be a little clunky. I found this at start to be a big pain in the butt. But basically you just want to set your routes, which it's being clunky right as we speak. It set the route even though it didn't show the line, so that's what I mean by there's some various problems with it. But basically this is going to minimize the amount of jump points when you go into like turn your quantum jump on. So if we hit F2 here, I'm going to go ahead and hail my takeoff. To do so, what we do is, so this is where that menu comes in. On these ships, when I'm just doing courier services, I just leave comms up so I can do this nice and easy. We're going to go ahead and hit our little speaker, little connection button, looks like a Wi-Fi symbol, for the district, and then it's going to give me clearance to take off. If you're using mouse and keyboard, spacebar will, you know, pull you up in the air, and then your N key will retract your landing gear. We're currently in a Vtol mode. To get out of Vtol mode, you can hit your K button. That will take Vtol out, and then we can start flying around here. So as I had mentioned before, that jump point that we were talking about, that's going to be that little marker there. So if we hit our B key, now if we didn't have just this jump point, there'd be hundreds of icons to try to jump to, so it just makes it a mess and hard to pinpoint where you want to go, so that's why that route is very important. So we're going to go ahead and hold our B key now that we have that calibrated, and that will start our jump. Sorry about the frames there. That is, one, the game not very well optimized, two, yeah, it's, trying to run this very unoptimized game at the same time, and stream is just, quite the load. But as we get a little closer here, start to see the planet come into sight, and we'll have better jobs available to us, or more jobs available to us within the mobiGlas under the contract manager. I guess while we're in flight, we can go over that a little bit more in detail, because there's multiple types of contracts out there. Some of them will get you what's considered a crime stat, depending on what you're doing. So that will typically be under the personal tab. They pay better, but some of them are, you're doing some sketchy stuff, which there is a law enforcement system in this game. The UEF does control it, even though apparently there are, 4 large corporations or conglomerates apparently that own the individual solar systems or planetary systems, whatever we want to call it. But that is still all controlled by the UEF. And here, if you do get a crime stat and you find yourself dead, you will end up with a place called Klesher, depending on how bad or what your crimes were. There is varying time limits or time durations that you'll be stuck in that jail. You can mine your time down to reduce the sentence, but I've only been in there once. I got stuck doing time for, I glitched through a elevator, hence the mixed reviews in this game. I glitched through an elevator because it was just some sort of desync bug, fell down, and they gave me trespassing crime stat, which was only 10 minutes in Klesher, but I died while this happened at the same time, so it was just like I instantly just got put in jail for no reason. It kind of sucked, but that is how it is. But so that's where we want to get into. So you'll see each one of these has a detailed description. You're going to want to go through each one of these, read it in detail, and get an idea of what you're going to be doing if you want to avoid a crime stat. If you want to live life on the edge, if you get a little more experience, that I would recommend just staying legit so you don't have to worry about it to start. But if you just want to jump in and have a good time, it's all up to you, my friends. General tabs, where you're going to see none of these will get you any crime stat. Each one of these is legitimate work. You can see there's some mercenary and bounty hunter missions sitting out here just because, there's the bounty hunter guild, crusader security. That is, each one of these is location specific. You'll see that you have to rank yourself up in each one of these districts. I've primarily been working on, bounty hunting and mining. Mining is a new mechanic. I say new mechanic. I haven't been playing this game long. Is a mechanic that's not necessarily a contracted job. That's like you going out and working on your own volition. I figured that out just by watching other people's videos. Like mining, it definitely makes you the most money, but to mine it like effectively, you used to be able to do it with like hand mining. Apparently that is just kind of god awful. I had trouble with it myself. I gave up and just started doing courier service until I could buy the Prospector. Prospector is a light mining ship that you don't even have to get out. You just fly up to nodes that you can crack, try to find the right materials, extract, bring it back to the refinery, drop it off. I mean, I've had loads upwards of $500,000 of Quantanium. So now we're in this district, you can see that our contract manager is populated with tons and tons of stuff. You can do these search missions. That's what I was doing in particular. That will let you go out and, basically you're going to go and get some sketchy materials that are rather volatile. You have to go pick those up from a wreck site and deliver them to a location. It gives you a countdown timer. That's why you get a little extra money, because if you don't do it in time, it blows you. You blow right the hell up. So that is give you a little extra, like where the normal missions are only like 8,000, I believe. And you just go and collect not sensitive cargo and drop it off. Now this one, that sensitive cargo here, so that's another one that may blow your ship up. You have a time limit on. You can see that pays quite well. So that's what I was focusing on with this adventure. It's rather easy, especially with that loading bay, because you got to go and manually pick these crates up and move them and drop them down. We'll do one real quick here. So I will go to our accepted. We have this one tracked. Let's go find that guy. And that one will be marked with that big old box over there. You can see that's there. We're going to calibrate our jump point. And of course, you cannot just jump to this point because it's a shipwreck. So each one of these is like a little base or something set up on the moon, this particular moon anyway. We're gonna go ahead and try to find ourselves the quickest way there. So you can see it, like my method to this is locate how far away it is from your current position, and then try to find one of the bases that's closest to it. So you can see that this is only 175 kilometers away. And that one's 720 kilometers away, meaning that that's probably on the other side of the planet, or moon rather. So this one is 500 kilometers away. We're gonna try to jump to that and see if it's, you know, relatively close to where we want to be. If not, we'll try to go back up in the sky, find something a little closer. Just so you're not trying to fly 700 kilometers. I don't know if you'd have enough fuel to make it. Just you know, usually you can do about 100, 170 pretty easy. That's usually what I try to get within, 170, 150. I've had some where you can get within like 30, 40 kilometers, and that's nice. But you know, this is the, I guess, the grind part of this. You just gotta go and find it, which you gotta fly there manually. So let's see how far away we are. We're 250, but I don't see any jump points relatively close to it. So we're probably just gonna have to deal with it. Knowing that that's 250 kilometers away, I like to flip upside down. This makes it easier to see. We're gonna crank our speed up, so there's a speed limiter in it. You'll see that's that little box there. Get this puppy flying. We are in some relative atmosphere. I'm gonna try to get a little more altitude, get back out of atmosphere, just so we can go faster, easier. Because if you find yourself at max speed with thrusters off, that's your best fuel economy getting there. So we are out of atmosphere. We found location that we don't have to be at full throttle to maintain our max speed at 1109. We're going to find ourselves the right pitch so we're not continuing to pull away, because it's just increasing these, or slowing us down to get there. We're going to find the right pitch, try to hold it right around, you know, probably want to stay under 20,000. And you just fly yourself there. We'll do a little time warp to it for you. Usually right around 50 kilometers, I will rotate myself back over, because you're getting somewhat close, and we're going to start bringing ourselves back down in the atmosphere. It will slow us down here soon, but we're getting close enough now that we're going to want to be there. You'll see my G meter in the lower right hand corner. Want to be careful with that. You can out over G yourself and it will kill you. So we're going to try to slow this girl down now. Bring our speed limiter back. And I wish I had my mining ship, because all them little things that just popped up on the screen, those are all nodes you can mine. And usually when there's a big cluster of them like that, it's quadranium. Happens to be the best element to be mining in this game right at the moment. It gives you great payout. Whether you might refine it or not, you get a great payout on that one. Refined, granted, is infinitely better, but if you have a full load of like a full Cuddy Black Montanium will be close to, you know, oh, what was it? Probably close to half mil. I had 2,000 units. It was like 200,000 plus, depending on the day. So if you fill a Cuddy Black, that's, you know, 4,600 units. You can definitely get close to about 500,000 per load. Which, mining it, that you probably do that in an hour if you found yourself a sweet spot. But the yeah, not always going to be doing that. I typically get about 200, 300,000 an hour if you break it down and grind it out right. So I'm going to take our slow it down. Now you can come out of caged mode and it will hold the throttle for you, or it'll just maintain throttle position. That's more of a, I guess, realistic flying experience. So you want to come in here slow. Try to find a good spot to land. If you turn your hit your L key, it'll turn some lights on so you can see. Now you do want to be careful picking some of these up. Once in a while, there'll be some raiders or pirates here. So you'll see that the entrance to this one, and all four of them, happen to be in the same spot, which is good. It's located on the other side of this little thing, and we do have enough room to land this little guy over there. I'll put my landing gear down. Make sure it cleared the back. I did, and set her down. At this point, get out of the seat. Come on over here. The story's always a little sketchy. So loading ramp makes this nice because you can just kind of run up here. So this is that stuff I was talking about. It's rather volatile. It's 130 degrees on this planet. I am not geared well for this. I can only survive for an hour. So we're gonna have to do that nice and quick each time. That's first step when you're picking this stuff up. You want to kind of figure out what you're picking up or where all the pickup spots are. Sometimes they'll be spread out across the wreckage here. So that's typically what these are, like plane wrecks. You're going to pick up sensitive cargo. So now, mind you, once you take this out of their little holding cells over there, there's a 13-minute countdown. That countdown is basically the Quantanium destabilizing. You have 13 minutes that it will stay stabilized in there to deliver the package, and you do have to pick each one up individually. So you kind of want to do it all in one shot, know where you're going. Like once you're done, get in the pilot seat, immediately take off, get to your point, and then you're gonna have to drop each one of them off individually. We'll crush through this real quick. And now that we have all four, close our door up here, because that will stay open. Get the hell back to the ship. You'll see there's a new position for drop-off point. We are gonna get ourselves up in the air, get our gear back up, go find this location, which seems to be on another planet. So turn jump points, or come on, get out of atmosphere, so we can jump. So each moon or planet has a different altitude that you can jump from. We're just gonna crush this out. Bang. He's out. areas that do have landing pods if you wanted to be legit with it. So this is where the line comes into play. You want to take your oldest one first. Just make sure you got that out of there. You can see we got 5 minutes left on it. We're doing pretty good. Your scroll wheel let you walk faster and slower when carrying. You cannot sprint, so I usually just max the scroll wheel out, get me going as fast as I can. Come to our terminal, select drop off, put the package in here, and repeat. Error. What? Oh, I'm at the wrong one. Look at me, I'm stupid. I'm just so used to going there. Drop off zone. Downstairs somehow. How do I get down there? I have not dealt with this before. Is there a door? So it's a trading console. How do we get down there? Nine meters away. We have to go upstairs to go downstairs. That'd be silly. Let's just go try that other one again and see what it does. So this is where mixed reviews come in as well. This is definitely not it, because it would have the marker rate on it. Yeah. Let's try to go upstairs to go downstairs. If not, we're going to get this shit off my ship so it doesn't blow up. Elevator or anything, no stairs. Is there anything downstairs that I'm just not seeing? Well, that is frustrating. The drop point seemingly inaccessible, or at least I don't know how to access it. Open this door, can't do anything here, so I'm just gonna start dropping this shit. You'll see me just scrambling to get this shit off so that it doesn't blow my ship up, but my drop point, I don't know how to get to it, so we'll set this here. Hopefully somebody doesn't walk by it. Drop. No. Drop. Last but not least, off my damn ship and get out of here. But it's a good starting point for anybody. Basically, once you get that far, you can drop all those off. Typically, the drop point's very easy and accessible. For whatever reason, this one's busted. Or I'm just stupid. It's probably the latter, but. Anyway, take off and do the same thing a couple more times. You can see you can do those in about, 20 minutes time between getting there, dropping it off, whole deal. You only got 13 minutes once you pick it up, so it's probably about 20, 25 minutes. I don't know. What am I? Go. See, this thing handles pretty damn good. So we can get ourselves up into space again. trying to find another mission. So come back, come down to our contract manager. Oh yeah, server's definitely not happy right now. So that might be why my drop-off point ain't working either. So it's most of the while server is about the 30k. It will do some wonky stuff, but in general, that is granted everything working correctly, you will be able to make some decent money doing that. Yep, and there is the 30k. So there's part of the mixed reviews on the game. It just crashed. Uh, so great spot to end it, I guess. But that's basically how I started. Started with the Avenger Titan. It's like a $75 pledge. You do not need to do that. You can do very much the same thing with the light fighters that they recommend. It's like the Aurora or the Mustang Alpha. The Aurora is the one that I'd probably say because it's got like a little area that you can put packages into. You don't have to just do like light fighter missions with it. But you can always start with that, do a couple light fighter missions, and end up buying the Titan Avenger. It's rather cheap in game. That's why I felt stupid for buying it. Once you get that in game though, you can start doing the same missions I did there. Work yourself up to a Prospector. At least that's what I would be doing in the 314 version. 315's not out to general public yet. Once that does, we'll kind of re-review or reassess how I would start, because everybody will be starting fresh after the wipe. Apparently all you get to keep is your stuff you bought, like truly bought, like the pledges and stuff like that. Anything bought in game, equipment, so on, it will be wiped. So pretty much everybody will be starting fresh. It'll be a dead swarm of auroras flying around there once that hits out. But we'll pick back up another day. Hope everybody enjoys. Please subscribe. This is new. It's kind of raw, but we'll get better over time, and probably also start Twitch back up. Did some streaming before, but just at work and coming out and doing streaming, doing recording. It's fun once in a while, but you get too into it, it's almost like another job. But have a good night.